Most Americans think they're buying chocolate for Easter. They're not. Every year, millions of Easter baskets are filled with chocolate bunnies, chocolate eggs, and chocolate candies from some of the biggest brands in America. Parents grab familiar names. Grandparents buy whatever looks festive. Kids tear open colorful wrappers without thinking twice. But here's the problem. Some of the most popular Easter chocolates on American shelves contain surprisingly little actual chocolate. Some rely heavily on vegetable oils, artificial flavors, and sugar while charging prices that make shoppers assume they're getting premium quality. And some of the best-selling products aren't even legally allowed to call themselves chocolate under FDA standards. And that's exactly why this video matters. Over the past several weeks, I compared ingredient lists, manufacturing standards, cocoa butter content, pricing, and consumer reviews across dozens of Easter chocolate products sold in the United States. I spent time on store shelves, reading labels, comparing products side by side, and tasting everything I could get my hands on. What I found was surprising. Several of the most recognizable Easter chocolate brands are selling products that look far better than they actually are. Meanwhile, a few brands that receive far less attention are quietly producing some of the best Easter chocolate you can buy. Today, we're counting down 7 Easter chocolate brands you should avoid this year. And then we'll reveal 4 brands that are actually worth your money. By the end, you'll know exactly how to read any label and make smarter choices not just for Easter, but all year round. One of the brands on our buy list uses a chocolate-making process developed nearly 150 years ago and still outperforms most competitors today. But before we get there, let's start at the very bottom. Number 7 to avoid: Palmer chocolate. If you've ever walked into a dollar store, grocery store, or pharmacy during Easter season, you've seen Palmer. The colorful foil-wrapped bunnies are everywhere, and the price seems impossible to beat. Most Palmer Easter bunnies sell for around $1. That sounds like a bargain, until you flip the package over. Pick one up and look carefully at the packaging. It doesn't say chocolate, it says chocolate flavored. That single word changes everything. Under federal standards, real milk chocolate needs a minimum percentage of cacao and cocoa butter. Palmer's products fail that test. What leads the ingredient list? Sugar, hydrogenated vegetable oil, and whey. No cocoa butter anywhere, the magic ingredient that gives chocolate its smooth, melt-in-your-mouth feel at body temperature. Instead, they use palm oil, or similar substitutes. The result is a candy that looks like chocolate, but behaves very differently once you eat it. Instead of melting smoothly on your tongue, it leaves a waxy, greasy film on the roof of your mouth that lingers. The flavor is one-dimensional sweetness, with almost no cacao depth. It tastes more like sweetened candle wax than chocolate. Palmer has even faced lawsuits over misleading advertising, including complaints about oversized, too-tall bunnies that misrepresented what consumers were actually getting. To be fair, Palmer serves a purpose. Not every family wants to spend $5 or $6 per bunny. For large Easter egg hunts, budget matters. But if your goal is quality chocolate, Palmer belongs near the bottom of the list. And here's what makes this even more interesting. The same company makes a higher-end Peter Rabbit line with actual cocoa butter. They know how to do real chocolate. They simply choose the cheaper route for their biggest volume products. Next time you see chocolate flavored on any package, walk away. That's rule number 1. Number 6 to avoid: Hershey's Easter bunnies and shapes. Hershey's is one of the most recognizable chocolate brands in America. For many people, Hershey's is childhood. It's Halloween. It's Christmas. It's Easter. And unlike Palmer, Hershey's products do meet the standards for real chocolate. So why is it on the avoid list? Because being real chocolate doesn't automatically make it great chocolate. Flip over that festive Easter bunny and examine the ingredient list carefully. Cocoa butter, the most expensive and important ingredient for real chocolate's flavor and melt, sits way down in 4th position. Sugar leads, of course, followed by other components, with cocoa butter lagging far behind. One ingredient to watch for: PGPR. It's an additive Hershey's uses that allows them to reduce cocoa butter while still getting the chocolate to flow properly into molds. It's still legally real chocolate. But you're getting noticeably less of the good stuff. Eat a Hershey's bunny next to one with higher cocoa butter content and the difference hits immediately. Milder chocolate flavor. Less silky texture. A different mouthfeel entirely. To be fair, Hershey's remains affordable and widely available. Millions of people genuinely enjoy it. But the famous name carries a premium that the ingredient list doesn't fully justify. Number 5 to avoid: Cadbury Easter products, the US version. Few Easter products are more iconic than Cadbury cream eggs. They're practically an Easter tradition. The purple packaging, the soft center, the familiar name. Most shoppers assume they're buying British chocolate. that's where things get interesting. The Cadbury products sold in the United States are not identical to the Cadbury products sold in the United Kingdom. Same brand, same logo. Different manufacturing systems, different formulations, different chocolate experience. Here's the twist most people don't know. Cadbury sold in the United States is actually manufactured by Hershey's under a licensing deal. Same name, different factory, different formula. You're buying American Hershey-style chocolate in a Cadbury wrapper. In fact, Hershey's once went to court to block the import of real British-made Cadbury to protect their licensing agreement, and they won. So, the version on your shelf is intentionally different from the UK original. The ingredient profile is nearly identical to Hershey's. Cocoa butter pushed down the list, shortcuts in place. A significant portion of what you're paying for is the reputation, not meaningfully better chocolate. Check the packaging. If it says manufactured in the USA, it's Hershey's made. The cream eggs have their own fun, iconic appeal. If you love the specific taste and creamy filling, go for it. Just don't assume you're getting superior British chocolate. Number 4 to avoid. Reese's Easter eggs and shapes. Let's talk about one of the most beloved Easter candies in America. Reese's peanut butter eggs. Every Easter, millions of these disappear from store shelves. And unlike some products on this list, Reese's isn't pretending to be premium chocolate. The company knows exactly what it's selling. Peanut butter candy coated in chocolate. But cut one of those Easter eggs in half. What do you actually see? A thick peanut butter center. A thin chocolate shell. Most of the product isn't chocolate at all. And here's something many Reese's fans don't realize. The Easter egg version contains a different chocolate to filling ratio than the traditional Reese's cup. The egg shape allows more peanut butter and less chocolate. The actual chocolate percentage can drop to 20 or 30% of the product. That's one reason many people claim Easter Reese's taste different. They're not imagining it. The proportions really are different. This is a key lesson about format. A solid bunny is 100% chocolate. Filled eggs and novelty shapes often deliver only a fraction of that, with the rest being sugary filling. If your goal is real Easter chocolate, choose solid over filled. Now, if you love Reese's, keep buying Reese's. There's nothing wrong with enjoying it. But if you're shopping specifically for Easter chocolate, this isn't really a chocolate product. It's a candy product wearing a chocolate jacket. And that distinction matters. So far, we've covered the bottom tier, the ultra-cheap compound coatings, and the big-name options that promise more than their ingredients deliver. These dominate the shelves and the baskets, but they often leave you with waxy textures, mild flavors, and disappointment when you compare them side by side with better options. Now let's continue with the final 3 brands to approach with caution this Easter. Number 3 to avoid, Nestle Easter products. Nestle has a massive presence in the Easter aisle with everything from solid bunnies to filled eggs and licensed character shapes. Many of these sit right next to the more famous names and look equally tempting. But flip the package. You'll find the same pattern we've seen before. Cocoa butter pushed lower on the ingredient list, with sugar, milk components, and vegetable oils taking priority. Some of their seasonal items lean heavily into compound chocolate, or use significant shortcuts to hit aggressive price points. In blind taste comparisons, Nestle's Easter line often lands in the middle of the pack, better than pure compound, but noticeably behind brands that prioritize cocoa butter earlier in the formula. The melt is acceptable, but lacks the silky depth of higher quality options. To be fair, Nestle offers variety and fun shapes that kids love. Some of their products are fine for casual snacking. But if you're specifically hunting for real Easter chocolate that delivers on flavor and quality, there are stronger alternatives. The brand excels more in candy bars and other categories than in premium seasonal chocolate. Number 2 to avoid, Brock's and generic drugstore seasonal chocolate. Walk into almost any pharmacy or big box retailer and you'll see towers of Brock's or unbranded Easter chocolate bunnies and eggs priced to move. These are the ultra-budget fillers that appear year after year. Many of these fall into the same chocolate-flavored category as Palmer. Even when they technically qualify as chocolate, the cocoa butter content is minimal. And the ingredient lists are long, with additives for shelf stability and cost reduction. The texture often feels waxy or overly soft. The flavor is flat sweetness with little cacao complexity. They're designed for volume and low price rather than enjoyment. To be fair, they're incredibly cheap and widely available. No one expects gourmet from a $1.50 drugstore bunny, but knowing what's inside helps you decide whether that low price is truly worth it. For any gift, basket centerpiece, or family sharing, they disappoint once you've tried better. Number 1 to avoid, generic store brand filled eggs and novelty shapes from budget lines. This one might surprise you. While some store brands shine, and we'll get to those very soon, many of the cheapest filled eggs and novelty items from basic budget lines fall short. These are often thin chocolate shells over massive amounts of sugary cream, peanut butter, or marshmallow filling. The actual chocolate percentage can dip below 25%, making them more candy than chocolate. Even when the shell is real chocolate, the overall experience is dominated by filling, not cacao. You're essentially buying a sugar delivery system with a chocolate coating. That's the recurring theme throughout this countdown. Expectation versus reality. The rabbit on the package suggests something special. The ingredient list tells a much more ordinary story. So those are the 7 Easter chocolate brands and product types to approach carefully this season. The common thread? Heavy reliance on cheap fats instead of cocoa butter, long ingredient lists full of shortcuts, misleading packaging, or formats that deliver far more sugar than actual chocolate. Now let's flip to the good news. Here are 4 brands that are actually worth your money. These are not necessarily the most expensive chocolates on the shelf, they're not always the most heavily advertised, and they certainly aren't the brands spending millions on Easter marketing campaigns. Instead, these are the products that consistently deliver what chocolate is supposed to deliver. Real cocoa butter. Better texture. Better melt. Better flavor. And ingredient lists that actually justify the price. Number 4 on the worth it list, Target's favorite day Easter chocolate. If you've never paid attention to Target's Easter chocolate section, you're not alone. Most shoppers walk directly toward the familiar national brands, Hershey's, Cadbury, Reese's. Meanwhile, Target's own chocolate products sit quietly nearby. And that's exactly why this discovery was so surprising. Yes, a store brand makes the worth it list. When I placed a favorite day bunny next to a Hershey's on the shelf and compared labels side by side, the difference was clear. Shorter ingredient list. Fewer unnecessary additives. Cleaner formulation. No heavy reliance on PGPR or excessive additives. And cocoa butter appears higher on the list, delivering a noticeably smoother melt and more balanced flavor than Hershey's at nearly half the price. No Super Bowl ad budget or licensing fees baked into the cost. Those savings go directly into the chocolate itself. To be fair, it doesn't taste like ultra-premium European chocolate. It's honest, solid, everyday milk chocolate done right. Perfect for baskets, egg hunts, or everyday snacking. This is the kind of smart value pick that proves price doesn't always equal quality. Try this yourself next time you're shopping. Grab 1 store brand Solid Bunny and 1 name brand. Flip both. You'll likely be surprised which one looks better on paper. Number 3 on the worth it list, Russell Stover Premium Assortments. Now, you might have expected a different verdict on Russell Stover given what we know about some of their seasonal hollow bunnies. And that's where an important distinction comes in. Not every product from a company deserves the same ranking. Their basic seasonal items can disappoint. Their premium assortments are a different story entirely. Russell Stover has been around since 1923, and their better product lines still follow an old-school approach that many bigger companies have abandoned. The ingredient list is refreshingly short. They use whole milk instead of separating it into skim milk and milk fat. That might sound like a small detail. It isn't. Many manufacturers separate milk components and then recombine them later during production. Russell Stover's better lines maintain a simpler approach. The result is a more natural milk flavor, smoother texture, and cleaner finish. Cocoa butter sits in a strong position, no unnecessary shortcuts. Place a Russell Stover premium piece next to a Hershey's, and the difference is immediate on the tongue, better depth, more traditional chocolate character, a more complete eating experience. This is where chocolate begins moving beyond candy. Number 2 on the worth it list, Dove Easter Chocolate. If there is one underrated chocolate brand in America, it might be Dove. The company rarely generates the same excitement as imported luxury chocolates. It doesn't have the Easter prestige of some competitors. And yet, time after time, Dove delivers. Owned by Mars, the same company behind M&M's and Snickers Dove, is the chocolate line they clearly take most seriously. Dove consistently wins blind taste tests against Hershey's and even Russell Stover. Why? Higher cocoa butter content, no heavy shortcuts, and longer conching time. That's the grinding process that creates an exceptionally smooth texture. When Dove melts on your tongue, the difference is immediate. Richer chocolate flavor, restrained sweetness, a clean, elegant finish that lingers in the best way. Compare the ingredient list side by side with Hershey's. Dove's is shorter and cleaner. Cocoa butter sits higher. You don't need to pay Lindt or Godiva prices to get chocolate that feels meaningfully better than the mass market standard. Another advantage is consistency. Whether you're buying Dove during Easter, Valentine's Day, or any other time of year, quality remains remarkably stable. Many companies quietly lower standards during seasonal production runs. Dove generally avoids that trap. And here's a small detail that turns eating Dove into something slightly special. Every piece has a tiny personal message printed inside the foil wrapper. It changes with every piece. It's a small thing. But it turns a chocolate moment into a tiny ritual, and it helps explain why Dove has such a loyal following. To be fair, the Easter packaging isn't particularly exciting. This isn't the chocolate you buy when you're trying to impress someone with presentation. But if your goal is simply eating great chocolate at a reasonable price, Dove punches far above its weight. And that brings us to number 1. Number 1 on the worth it list, Lindt Gold Bunny. This is the one. The gold wrapper, the red ribbon, the tiny bell. Few Easter products are more recognizable than the Lindt Gold Bunny, but unlike many famous brands, Lindt actually lives up to its reputation, and the reason becomes obvious the moment you examine the ingredients. Cocoa butter sits in second position, right after sugar, ahead of everything else. That single detail tells you almost everything. Founded in Switzerland in 1845, Lindt perfected long conching techniques that transform chocolate from gritty to silk. Every Gold Bunny follows the same high standards as their year-round line. No holiday corner cutting. No seasonal shortcuts. The same Swiss philosophy in every piece. When you let a Lindt Gold Bunny melt slowly on your tongue, the sensation is different. It dissolves cleanly at body temperature with none of the waxy residue you get from lesser products. The cacao flavor comes through rich and layered. The finish is pure, leaving nothing behind but satisfaction. Compare it directly to a Hershey's bunny eaten back to back. The difference needs no explanation. Your mouth just knows real chocolate when it experiences it. This isn't heritage marketing. It's consistent excellence. The downside is price. A Lindt Gold Bunny typically costs $6 to $8. If you're buying dozens for a neighborhood egg hunt, costs add up quickly. This is chocolate for savoring, not scattering across the yard. Reserve the Gold Bunny for special baskets, gifts, or moments when you want to treat yourself or someone you love. Now, after comparing all of these products, 3 simple rules emerge. These will help you evaluate any Easter chocolate, or any chocolate, any time of year without memorizing brand names. Rule 1. Beware the word flavored. If the package says chocolate flavored instead of chocolate, it's not real chocolate under FDA standards. Walk away. Real chocolate never needs that qualifier. Rule 2. Check where cocoa butter sits on the ingredient list. The closer it is to the top, the more real chocolate you're getting. Second position, like Lindt, is excellent. Fourth or lower, like Hershey's, means they're stretching it. Non-existent, like many cheap compound products, means you're buying sweetened vegetable oil in a pretty wrapper. Rule 3. Price is not the same as quality. A $2 store brand with a clean, simple list can beat a $5 name brand. Famous packaging and national advertising campaigns cost money, and that money often comes directly out of the ingredients. Always flip the package. Let the ingredients, not the marketing, do the talking. These rules are timeless. They work today, they'll work next Easter. And they work on regular chocolate bars at checkout any day of the year. Shopping for Easter chocolate doesn't have to be overwhelming. The industry knows how to make excellent products. The question is whether they choose to for the item in your hand. Some big names cut corners to protect profits. Others, including smart store brands and focused premium makers, deliver honest value and genuinely superior taste. This Easter, take an extra 30 seconds at the shelf. Flip a few packages. Compare ingredient lists. Your family deserves better than waxy, one-dimensional sweetness disguised in pretty foil. And remember, even Palmer, at the very bottom of this list, makes a real chocolate line with cocoa butter. The same company can choose 2 completely different standards. Now you know exactly how to spot the difference. What Easter chocolate brand is sitting in your basket this year? Have you ever done a side-by-side ingredient comparison before? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, if you want more deep dives into the everyday foods we buy without thinking twice. The hidden differences and how to make smarter choices for your family, make sure to subscribe. We'll keep pulling back the curtain together. Happy Easter, choose consciously, and enjoy every bite.